What is up, Facebook fam, YouTube fam, friend fam, fam? This is Solomon Cook with Cookie a la carte, also known as your boy Solo C on PS4 and Xbox. Today, we're going to get right into a very exciting game. It was a recently released demo, Predator Hunting Grounds, brought to you by publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment, and IIIfonic, or IIIfonic, is the developer. Within this game, you play as either the Predator himself, or you play as a group of Special Forces members. Predator, his overall goal is to, if you've seen the movie, you know what he does. He goes through, finds worthy adversaries, takes his trophies, does his thing. As the humans, you have various objectives. Of course, name of the game, stay alive, as well as, go to various places, either build communications, destroy communications, find various artifacts, objectives, and then with the end goal being to basically helicopter your way out without being murdered. The overall graphics of the environment are definitely not anything that are groundbreaking. It's roundabout something I would expect from a game that's made in maybe late 2000s to early 2010. But definitely not something that's going to test the limits of a 4K or even a PC. I myself don't own a PC, so I do know that they do have, certain things you could throw in there to make your game look really, really pretty. But from just what the bare bones that the game has, I don't know if it even has that capability to really make it that much better. The general mechanics of the game, there's something that I believe to be a little bit stunted, pretty rudimentary, and with that it kind of makes the game not as fun as it should be. The basic controls are more so something akin to what I would expect from a game that came out in maybe early to mid 2000s. There's no lean functions, there's no slide mechanics, and just basic things that you would expect from a shooter that was made in the year 2020. With the Predator, you do have similar gaming mechanics, somewhat stunted by just how they developed the game. You have a bit of a locomotive, not so much a locomotive system that kind of builds upon how fast you're going or where you're going to, but more so just your basic momentum mechanics. As you're running on ground level, you are at a bit of a disadvantage, at least with that current build that they have for the Predator. The name of the game is to get elevation. And once you get up there, it does kind of change the game into a little bit more three-dimensional aspect to it. But even with that, the mechanics of just moving from place to place, tree to tree, can get a little wonky. If you're moving a little bit too fast or you're not deliberate with what you're trying to do, you might get yourself caught in a bit of a wheel where you're jumping from tree to tree to tree to tree. And it does get a little bit of annoying, especially when you're trying to, basically isolate the Special Forces members, and sometimes you only have a little bit of time to get down there, do some damage, and then move on, and work on basically dividing the team again so you can go in there and get your kills. So my overall thoughts of this game, I will throw it out there with a bit of a grain of salt because it was actually just a demo, so there were things that were locked off just from the capability of what the demo had. Now, with that, I couldn't really see if there was any type of overarching storyline or anything along those lines. But what it did have is just basically 4v1 on one map, and there were various locking mechanisms placed on weapon customizations, as well as character customizations. So when customizing your character, it starts from the ground up. So you could do boots, pants, jacket, skin color, what kind of helmet you got on, sunshades, whatever tickles your fancy. That is very refreshing in the day and age we live in with just overall character customization. And a first-person shooter, it's not something you see, but when you're in cinematics and you can actually see your character, the way you dress them, I do appreciate that. Moving forward with how the Predator can be customized, again, he can do various skins, different looks, feels to it, and then from there you customize his armor, face mask. From there you get options of shoot, I can't even count how many. I'd say maybe 10, 12 somewhere, I think is what I remember seeing. And then from there you have various paints, markings, and then from there you can change the color of that. So again, you can make your character your own character, give them your own feel. When playing as the humans, there is an overall class system. You have, your basic tanks, your supply support characters. You have your snipers. You have your scouts. And then from there, I never really got in with like a core group of people to be able to kind of experiment to see how you can use those different team dynamics to make your game different. I played a little bit with the sniper from what was going on and how quickly paced the game is, as well as just the overall environment and trying to track down a predator. Unless you have a predator that stands absolutely still, it's going to be pretty hard to get a shot off and do some damage that way. So with your vanilla predator, you have your wrist blades as well as the IIIfonic plasma caster. Those are things that come in from jump, and then from there you can kind of level yourself up to obtain more weapons and things. They have net guns, the smart disc, combi stick, all of the iconic weapons from the Predator franchise. In regards to using those perks, never really used them. I got by well enough with just using my wrist blades as well as using the plasma caster. So speaking of a general fun factor, is this game fun? Yes and no. It definitely is fun to just get in there, have a different type of game to play, different game mechanics, and have something a little different to play. It definitely isn't something that can hold my attention for hours and hours. I could play Call of Duty for probably about a quarter of a day in a sitting. Well, not a quarter of a day, but you know what I mean. You get your hours in, you get your fun in, and then you got other stuff to do. With this game, I kind of found myself getting bored after about maybe an hour. And it wasn't something where I was like, man, I'm going to take a little break and then I'm going to come back and pick this back up. It was more so like, okay, I have played this. I've seen what it is like. Until it is better, I'm not really going to get back down on it. So speaking of the price point, the game comes up at an overall vanilla version of $40, as well as a digital deluxe version that I believe is $50 or $60. This game within its current state, as much as I would love to just go out and spend that money to go ahead and get the game, it's not something that I can currently warrant doing. There's plenty of games out there, there's plenty of game sales, and there's games that I'd pay $60 for, or even $60 plus for, digital content, and DLC, things along those lines. Now, with it being $40, it's definitely something that it's just a little too rich for my blood at this current time. I'd probably get it for about maybe, if it was 30, I'd still have to think about it. 25, you're getting there. 20, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. But at $40 for this game and the way it is right now, it's just not something I'm going to part some ends with, All right, guys, if you guys are still sticking around, I wholeheartedly appreciate the support. You want to do a couple more things while you're sitting there, go ahead and hit that like, that subscribe down there. And thank you so much for watching the first game review from Cookie a la carte. We're going to be getting together a few more game reviews over the course of the next upcoming weeks. So go ahead and stay tuned. I will be streaming probably, really, with the way things are going right now, it's just basically whenever I feel like it. So, kind of tune in for that, and if I'm playing a multiplayer game, feel free to hop in. As I stated before, it's your boy Solo C on PS4 and Xbox. Slight different variation of the letters because I can't do spaces in PS4, so they're underscores. So if you missed that at the beginning of the video, go ahead and backtrack over there and get that PSN, get that gamer tag, and let's go ahead and start making some magic happen.